doesn't. We're live. Oh,
Wow.
StreamYard lost my intro, I guess. So what fun is that? That's weird. So happy StreamYard Day. Hi, everybody. Cleo just had a little power blip. She'll be back in here in a minute. So hi. Sorry, no intro. The StreamYard just decided to drop it. So there we go.
You got us. So what do you need an intro for?
We're on for PoliTarology. And Cleo's the one with the questions. That's why we're waiting for her. So, Shari, you just told me that you just read that 1,000 lawyers just walked off the job.
10,000 lawyers.
Oh my gosh!
Have quit. Federal lawyers have quit. I'm assuming it's across the board of all the different levels that they have lawyers in the White House.
I'll Google it.
And
news about 10,000 lawyers. Oh, Trump applauds exodus of 10,000.
Yeah, he's saying that that's what he wanted, but I think everybody's freaking out.
Yeah, but what does Yahoo News say? Yahoo News says leaving multiple agencies understaffed.
Well, yeah, 10,000 lawyers walk off. You're going to be understaffed.
Well, no, actually, this says, is this from today or is this old?
I don't know. The thing you just popped up on my news thing on my phone as I was logging off the phone because I was listening to one of my hi Shari, hi Kale, hi Abby, hi Lois, hi Aaron, hi James. I didn't say hi to y'all earlier. I'm sorry. I meant to.
Well, y'all must hate me because I always forget to say hello to people.
Well, and Danny and I were,
everybody.
Yeah, Danny and I were talking, and then it went live, and we just kind of picked up where we left off.
Wow.
And we were like 10 minutes into the show when I realized I forgot to say hey to people.
Now, this from the New York Times says that it was 5 days ago only. And then Mass Live says it was 3 days ago. And then The Hill says it was 5 days ago. So I guess because we don't have very good legacy media anymore, it takes a few days.
A few days for it to get. I think it was BBC that I got the thing from. So so wow,
but Trump's saying it's very good. So so she's not back here yet. Okay. So
I'm keeping an eye out for her.
You know, everything I just heard in the news today just went out of my head. So I'll look in the chat. Oh, here we go. She's back. Oh, thank God. Okay. Thank you.
There she is.
Oh, thank you for coming back. Are your lights on? Oh, that's just her camera.
Well, she's here, but she obviously can't hear us yet.
Okay. So she'll figure that out. So let me just see what's going on with headlines here. Let's see what we got. So go to the AP because I love the AP. I'm sorry, folks. I'm leaving for my trip for Seattle tomorrow morning at 5:00 a.m. And so I'm a little nervous about being all ready to go. And I've been really focusing on getting ready.
I am so sorry. I don't know what the hell happened, but everything just shut down, and then it didn't shut down. I mean, some things stayed on, some things went off. I'm wondering if I kicked something underneath the desk and screwed
up the brownout. You could have had a brownout.
It didn't act like a brownout because things went off in here, and then I find out nothing happened out in the living room. So I think maybe it had to do with, I don't know.
Colleen, Sanity Clause says it's 10,000 have left since January of last year.
10,000 what?
Lawyers.
The federal lawyers.
Oh, wow.
I think it's going to be very hard for us to know what's true because the legacy media is not telling us. You cannot trust ABC, CBS, regular NBC. You can't trust them. Even CNN is really like 50-50. They're telling the truth.
If I want news, I go to YouTube and I watch Don Lemon. I watch Katie Pang. I watch
Midas Touch.
Midas Touch, and the affiliates from there.
Yep. Brian Tyler Cohen, Kyle and Friends.
Keith Edwards.
Keith Edwards. He's a little dicey, but I listen to him sometimes. So, I mean, it's just.
What's the young kid's name that's suddenly become a rising star?
Adam Mockler.
Yeah, I like him.
Yeah. So what do we want to read on here? So, Trump calls for military to accelerate use of AI while protecting Americans. Are you kidding me?
Please.
He wants the super soldiers.
And when you talk about what's true and what's not true, the other day I looked up and said the job market just felt, is not doing well at all. Suddenly today, it's like, oh, job market's doing great. Then Trump comes on and says, stock market's down, but the job market's doing great. I'm thinking, no, you guys are just a bunch of liars. The job market is down, and that is why the stock market is down. Just because you said it's up, that's ridiculous. No.
Thank you, Dina. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Dina, for the beautiful presents. I was showing them off to Colleen and Cleo. That's why we were coming late.
Yeah.
I got a birthday present from Dina today.
She's so sweet. Thank you, Dina. All right. So
nothing but lies is what I'm saying.
Yeah, nothing but lies. You can't trust anything that they say. So
don't
bother.
Anything.
Why do you bother? And you notice some of the things that are coming out of Fox News are a little bit more true than what you would hear out of ABC or CBS.
Yeah, I know. And CNN. It's just crazy.
CNN, yes, it is crazy.
CBS just fired Scott Pelley.
Oh my God!
Last week, and
that's just the same playbook as Dumpy with the U.S. He wants to destroy everything, right? And let's be very careful about saying his name. Let's be very careful about saying all of the people circling around him, please, because.
Well, I say that
YT is being very, very cagey with my channel and most readers' channels. We can't mention names. There's a pretty much censorship in a way.
Yeah.
So we really appreciate all of you being here. Please make sure that you are a subscriber. People in the chat, you're a subscriber or you wouldn't be able to be in the chat. But anybody watching, please go check and make sure you're still subscribed. Every time I go on YouTube, it tells me, lost 84 subscribers. And I'm like, where, when, why?
I've been going up and down the same 100 subscriber count for like 2 months.
Yeah.
I'll go up to a certain point and then it'll drop back down. And then I'll go back up and it'll drop back down. It's like.
Well, and YouTube is doing this thing where they tell you that they're getting rid of fake accounts. And I think some of that's true because I did see a real drop in those, the ones that just would tape like Ari Melber or Rachel Maddow, and then they'd put them out with wild headlines as if it was their thing. And then you look at the name of the channel and it's like, Ubuntu in Iowa. You're like, what what is that? So I know they're getting rid of those kinds of things, although I have just seen in the last day or two, I've seen a few more of those new ones pop up. But I get it that YouTube's trying to keep, track of this stuff and not have bots on there, but they're also censoring us basically. So I really appreciate you guys all being here. And I'm going to make a shameless plug for my memberships on my website. On my website, when you come to the meetings, there's no censorship. It's whatever we want to say. And eventually that's where this show is going to live because of the so-called censorship. So eventually it's going to go there. Not today, not tomorrow, but it will go there. And so I really encourage you all to get connected on my website so that if I have to email everybody, I have your email address. If you become a member, you'll automatically be notified about things. But please, please, please go there and check it out. There's one of the lowest number for memberships. Well, there's the free, just being a website member. And then there's a $5 level of membership. Then there's higher levels too. But please, shameless plug, but I have to do it because YouTube is being so restrictive. And what is going to stay on YouTube is all the shows that do personal stuff. So it's just because of the political, because
here's a quick headline: states to sue to block Trump allies from getting control of CNN.
Ah, yeah, let's read on that.
A coalition of states are preparing a lawsuit to block Paramount's acquisition of Warner Brothers.
Yeah, well, that's been going on for a while. They're just they don't like that idea of one taking over the other or becoming combined. I think it just feels like it's too big and too much of a monopoly, and that they would control so much of what comes on there that, I kind of see a day where the average networks are just going to be leveled and people are going to go to places like YouTube, and there'll probably be new things coming up that are similar to YouTube because our regular networks are not they're being too restricted by somebody's administration.
Yeah. Thank you, Cleo. I appreciate that. And I just got a notification that somebody has gone to my website. Thank you so much.
Awesome.
And when do you think it'll be together by July, Colleen?
I'm doing rebranding on the whole channel. If you've noticed, I have 3 other shows. We have the Crohn's Oracle, Crohn's Cosmos, Crohn's Mirror, and then we have this show. And this show, I hope in July. I'm not sure I'll be able to get it together because I got to get ready for fair in August, but maybe in July, maybe early August. And then, but the other shows will still stay here. The ones where we do personal readings, they will stay here. So
all the cool Crohn stuff will stay here.
Yep. That's right. Yep. So
and somebody says, what is your website? So
I typed it in. It in. Okay. So the website is thecoolcrone.com. That's what it is. Yay. And also on the website, that's where you go if you want to get a reading with me. So there you go. Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. That makes it easy, doesn't it? Oh, the joys of technology. Just love it. So what are we reading on? What is this question? Will CNN be absorbed by Paramount? Is that what we want to find out? Or
is that the question?
I don't know. That's just kind of a yes/no question. I think ultimately, well, let's. Will it be absorbed by Paramount, or what will happen?
Well, just a personal opinion. I hope not. I hope that people stay a little bit independent of each other's networks and let their own networks do their thing, because otherwise you start to get. It will be so homogenized that you'll never figure out what's really going on, and people would just start assuming that whatever they're told is just the way it is, because they won't be able to get it anywhere else to find out what the difference is, except on YouTube
or Fox News, apparently.
that's just so weird. It would be Fox News that would make a difference, but
oh god.
Oh yeah, wow. No, I just hope that that doesn't really happen. And there could be some. Well, I don't know. The guy that, the rules that they go by for different networks, that they have to get kind of government approval. And I mean, I don't think that's anything new. I think that's always been happening, that there's certain rules and regulations that they have to go by. Well, but there's a guy that somebody in the leader of the United States put in charge of running all these things. And so, yeah, I mean, anything could happen, because if it looks like people are becoming too independent of the thinking of some administration, if they become too independent of them, they might do something like that just to correct it. Hopefully that's that's down the road, and I hopefully things are going to change in between now and then so that kind of thing doesn't happen. But one of the things that somebody leading this country has always done, and I want to talk about the Secretary of State, that he went before Congress, and they asked him about somebody that was always falling asleep at the wheel.
Yes, I believe it was Senator Ted Lieu.
I love that guy. Yeah, and
he's great.
And he had 3 different videos to back up what he was saying about somebody falling asleep, and right in front of the Secretary of State. And the Secretary of State, each time, he lied. He lied to Congress, and he lied 3 times, and he said that person was not falling asleep. And we all see it. Now, my point is about this is, how many times have we seen stuff like this that we see exactly what was happening and we're told something else? It's like your lying eyes are not, you can't
believe what I say, not what you see.
Believe what I say, not what you see. And you're looking at it going, wait a minute. Yeah, he did lie. And he continually said, no, this person, our leader, does not fall asleep, and he's up all the time, and he's so busy. And what I loved about this is he really shot himself in the foot with this. He said, hey, it's just like he'll call me at 2 a.m, 5 a.m. I went, uh-oh, this is a problem. We've got a person that's trying to run the country that is up all night. And of course, we already knew this, but this person, the Secretary of State, verified it, that he is up and about and just spewing stuff, which goes right along with a possible cognitive disorder, as well as that. Even if it's not a disorder, that is a goofy thing. That right there puts him in a different category of, is he in a good place to continue to run the country? And why is the Secretary of State lying? I think what he's trying to say is, no, he's not sleeping, but maybe he's just shutting his eyes, or maybe he's just intently listening. Well, that would be one way to look at it. But if you watch the 3, it's not that it just happens once or twice. He's got 3 different videos that clearly show that somebody has their eyes closed and they're sleeping, because at one point on one of them, he's like, he does a little jerk,
And if I can just throw in, if this man had been a person that did intently listen in meetings prior to the times where he's closing his eyes, maybe I would believe that. But this man is such a narcissist, he doesn't give a shit what anybody else is saying when they're talking, because they're not talking about him.
Yeah.
Well, and of course, then that would be the other excuse, is he's really not paying attention. And they're saying, wait a minute, when he's sleeping, and this is during it was kind of some kind of a committee meeting. It was an important thing that they were talking about, and I can't remember what the meeting was called. But anyway, and he should have totally been paying attention.
Yeah.
And he didn't add to the conversation.
Right.
And like Artist Liz says, he's taking extra long blinks.
Yeah. Extra long. Yeah. All right. So
I keep expecting to see the drool come out of his mouth.
Yeah.
Well, and I think it does. I mean, it's just but why is why is the Secretary of State lying about it? Blatantly lying. And even when he's called on it, he sticks to his word. And then that's when he came out saying, well, he wakes me up at 2 a.m. or 5 a.m. And I'm like, wow, what the hell is going on there, that we've got somebody that's, so he's definitely not getting enough sleep. That's one thing.
Yeah.
But to have everybody else, this is the pattern of that administration, is to boldly lie for him.
Mary Epperson, he probably does snore, just as he probably does let loose certain things in his lower small clothes.
There was a clip.
But we need to go back to the question that we first drew on, which was the issue of Paramount overtaking CNN.
Okay.
So let's go back to that. Very interesting conversation about the other guy. So, Shari, did you have something about that?
Heavy burdens, domestic priority. So those go together on that. And then I got the Wheel of Fortune. So we're talking about change. We're talking about karma coming back around to bite them in the backside. And then I got the Five of Swords. So there's a lot of insider fighting going on as they're trying to throw the next guy under the bus. And since Scott Pelley got fired, evidently a bunch of the crew have all started walking off. And they are giving very factual interviews when they're asked. And then the last thing I get is the King of Wands, which is, at this point, we don't have a King of Wands. And so we're waiting for one to show up and try to help fix this mess.
Wow.
So are you thinking yes, that they will merge?
They might be able to pull it off. It doesn't feel like they're going to pull it off. It feels like there's going to be some last minute things that happen that's going to prevent it from happening. But it wouldn't surprise me if they do pull it off and then within a few months it gets taken away.
That sounds like a good possibility.
Oh,
because there's an uproar.
Some judge is going to come back and say, no, you can't do this. That's monopolizing that field.
And didn't a judge already come up with something like this that was a little bit different? It was like Warner Brothers and the movie people. Not the networks. They had another thing. They didn't want that merge to happen either. And it hasn't yet. So
So what I got on this is that it's very contentious. It has not been decided, and it's going to take some tussle to get it to come to a decision. The first card I got on it is I got 3 sets of 2s in this reading, but I get the 10 of Cups crossed by the 2 of Wands. So it's their fond desire, of course, to have it happen, and they really believe it's going to happen. But with the 2 of Wands, there's on its side they're not seeing the bigger picture, that the world and the American people really don't want this to happen. Not that the American people vote on this, but who's going to watch it? They need the American people to watch it, and they're just not going to. And I think also a lot of people will do what they did when, what was it, when that thing with, it was a Disney thing, I think, with Hulu or something that was going on, and people just like dropped their subscriptions.
Yeah, it was something with Disney was doing something and was trying to buy up.
Yeah, they already had Hulu, but they already had Hulu. It was when they were trying to buy Netflix. And they're just like, no, we're not doing that. And everybody dropped their subscription. And so they said, oh, whoops, sorry, just kidding. We're not going to do it. It might be, it might be something else like that. But at the base here, now this is a new deck for me. This is the Sci-Fi Tarot. And I'll just show you, if you can figure out what card this is, you get a prize. I think it's the 8 of Wands. It just says Sci-Fi Tarot Wands changes in the air. So I think it's the 8 of Wands, but it doesn't actually have an 8 on the card. It just has people and a bunch of things. And this is I think
it looks like 8 wands sticking up.
Yeah, there are 8 there. And this is a pyramid. And this stuff just looks like a bunch of like stars or something here. This stuff. It's weird. So they're very
fairy lights. They have fairy lights up.
Kind of, yeah. And then they've got stuff where there's things like almost buildings in the background and little like lights going across them. You see here in the background these things. It's really a busy card, but these are fun cards and they're nice and small. So we have a lot of change. We have a lot of contention. We have a lot of people who want a lot of things. And if you listen to any of the independent media right now, what they're reporting about that man in the big, very pale house, they're saying that there's so many factions of people within that group that's why things just keep going, one step forward and then one step to the left and then one step back. They just keep going in weird motion. They can't really make progress because they're not working together. They're kind of working against each other in a lot of ways. So Queen of Swords is in the past. Well, who would that be? Oh, that could be a million people. But I'm going to say that it's just justice in general. That the Queen of Swords is the person who looks at things and says, no, the law doesn't let you do that. And that's in the past. They do not care about that. Then I get another 2 on top, 2 of Pentacles. That's the money. They're hoping that the money is just going to make it happen. That's what they're hoping. Not going to happen. They got the 8 of Pentacles. There's a lot of little things they have to learn about in order to make this happen. It is not going to be straightforward. What they're hoping is that they can just bully their way through it. I get 2 knights in a row here. I get the Knight of Pentacles and the Knight of Cups. Well, the Knight of Pentacles is what? That's the knight that stands still. That's somebody being just stubborn, just putting their hands on their hips and saying, no, you cannot pass go. You cannot do this. And the final outcome is another 2 of Swords. So it could end up in court, I think. This could be very contentious. And that they're just going to say, oh, just give it to them. He's going to say, let's wave my magic wand and let's just have them give it to us. But I don't think it's going to happen. Plus, is this guy going to be standing by the time this stuff comes to bear? He is so sick.
Say that last part again. I didn't hear you.
Is he going to be standing when all of these issues come to bear about the purchase, about acquiring CNN? I mean, what does he have? Minutes, hours, days left? I just think he's very sick and he's not going to live. And whether or not he's pulling the strings, he is the person pushing everybody to do these things. Yeah. He is the one that has he's the fulcrum of the power. He may not be the only power, but he is the fulcrum of it. He's the one who says, hey, Michael Cohen, maybe Michael Cohen's working for him again. Go threaten so-and-so so I can get this, basically. Anyway, so that's what I have. So I don't think it's a done deal at all. And I think you're right, Shari. There is a possibility, but I don't think it's really there. All right, so let's move on to something else. It's already almost half past. Geez, we did a lot there.
Okay.
What do you got there, Cleo? What do you got for us?
Oh, well, one of the things that what I wanted to talk about was the job thing and how we've been lied to about that. And I kind of briefly mentioned it. Mm-hmm. And then Trump came out today and he's like, stock market's doing great. But what, they're trying to push this lie that the job market is doing better. And of course, how would you ever know? The only way you know is when you hear something on the news or something on the internet about the job market. And we've been hearing over and over that they thought there was going to be, I think it was like 100,000 more jobs than there were last month. And the job market has really been stagnant and it's falling way back behind and there's a lot of unemployment. And so, and Trump's trying to say, well, look at the stock market's doing so good. But this thing, there's something, you guys aren't reporting correctly about the jobs. Well, no, they are reporting correctly about the jobs. The jobs did go way down. And it just, the stock market, I guess the stock market did go up, but it had nothing to do with the jobs. And so it's for him to say that we know the jobs went up. Why isn't it being reflected in this? It's because it did not go up. It did not go up. We're having a tough time with jobs. People are losing their jobs left and right. And a lot of people are losing their jobs still and again because they are employed by the government in some direct or indirect way. I mean, like anything federally funding is still being ripped away from people I know several people right this month that are losing their job by the middle of the month because they are working in a county job or a state job that is federally funded or at least federally added to. Um, and that those funds have just disappeared. And so there goes their jobs.
Yeah. And I think
as
too,
somebody that works for the state, I know that as positions come up empty, somebody retires, somebody quits, somebody gets fired, whatever, that position's not getting filled.
right.
Everybody else that's left is supposed to pick up the slack of all of this additional work at no additional pay.
Right.
We're seeing a lot of jobs disappearing that pay fairly well, a decent middle class income, and they're getting laid off and fired, and all they can find are minimum wage jobs. It's like,
Yeah.
how are you going to make your house note, your car note,
Yeah.
your kids' college, or whatever
Yeah.
on $7-8 an hour?
But I also think that let's not forget that the statistics that we're getting are coming from the United States Bureau of Labor Statistics. That belongs to a certain someone in that pale house. Let's not forget that twice now they have abridged or amended their jobs reports, and it resulted in a newly discovered number of jobs that actually got added in that month. And even this last month, it says for May, the economy unexpectedly added 172,000 jobs. Yeah, but did people get those jobs? And did people start getting paychecks from those jobs? Or is that just on paper?
It sounds like a lot, 172,000, but
across the whole country?
It doesn't nearly meet up with the expectations of the 250,000, the 280,000 jobs that they were expecting to see. So what they're doing is that anything that comes up that looks good, we don't know. I mean, they're throwing out figures. The general public is not keeping up with what was a high figure and what was a low figure. So when they say 172,000 jobs, that sounds like, yeah, great. But that's not what was to be expected, and that does not follow the growth of jobs over time. And so like last month, they didn't get the amount of jobs. They got probably 100 and, like you said, 172,000, but they were expecting 100,000 more than that, and it didn't happen.
So what they put out though is, oh, unexpectedly we have more than we thought. See, they spin it, and and I think that they spin it for him. Then he goes out and talks about it, and what comes out of his little pucker is what I'm going to say that again because I like that word. What comes out of his little pucker is a whole different yarn, because what he's doing is he's regurgitating something in his addled brain that he heard in the 80s from maybe Ronald Reagan or Bush or somebody that he thought sounded good, and he knew people liked it. So he just says it. It bears no relationship to actual reality.
Exactly.
In 2026. Exactly. He's just talking. He's just flapping his gums. So I don't believe any of that stuff that they say. You have to do what you just did. You talk to people around you. Are you doing better? You doing better? Is this hard? Yeah, it's hard.
Did you lose your job lately?
Yeah, a lot of people
did you take a cut in pay? Have you been, are you at a job that suddenly you're doing twice as much as you ever did because half the people you used to work with are no longer there?
How few grocery bags are you bringing home for the same amount of money?
Oh, yeah. like not even half. It's lower than half for this that you're spending that much. You get 2 bags of groceries instead of 6, and it's costing more than the 6.
Well, and they're also trying to say that inflation is down. That is not true. That is not true.
Well, and oh, okay. Don't get me started about the tariffs. I mean, come on.
And to me, just a quick change on this is the one big deal that he's been talking about is the anti-weaponization fund. where they're debating whether they should have this fund of almost $1.8 billion that would be used for people like the January 6th folks that have been pardoned, although they did illegal stuff, and now they want to come back and say they were mistreated, and so they need some money. And that's basically what Trump wants to do, is pay these criminals more money because of what they went through. So the reporter from CNN, her name is what's her first name? Caitlin Collins.
Oh, I love her.
And she went up and she said to Trump, she says, has it officially been killed? We're talking about the anti-weaponization fund. Has it officially been killed or put on hold? Trump told her, be quiet, and then rambled on about Collins never smiling.
Yep.
What the hell? So then he went on to blame people like her and the fake news CNN is why there is uncertainty about the fund. So it's the news people that have created the uncertainty. No, there's a whole lot of politicians that are looking around going, and they're trying to turn it down. But, Trump keeps bringing it back up, and they have said, no, we're not going to do that. That's ridiculous. That's totally wrong.
And the Republicans are not voting his way. They just voted to put more aid for Ukraine. Yeah,
finally.
So this is a major signal. This is a major flag waving, going, you know what, folks, we're not going along with this guy. Well, wake up, sunshine. It's a little too late for most of you. However, we'll take it. We'll take that you're supporting Ukraine, but that's not going to save your bacon. It's just not.
No, but it is. You are seeing Republicans that actually have a brain that have said, you know what? No, we're not going to continue to do this, because they see what Trump's doing is, if they keep going along with Trump, they're going to lose their position. They're not going to have any say because somebody else is going to get voted in. They are so worried about what's coming up in November.
They are. Not only November, they know that the man is on his last legs, and that they know it's coming sooner than November, and they are scared to death. But then we come down to the factions, because nobody's going to put in Mr. Eyeliner. Nobody's going to let him take the oath.
You're right. Yeah, nobody's interested. Nobody's
But
interested.
what
in
should
that.
we read on? What should we read on? Should we read on? I mean, the jobs. Yeah, we hashed that. We know it's just garbage. Let's read on Mr. Eyeliner. Is he gonna? I mean, because astrologically, this is coming into a terrible period for Mr. Whatever he is in the blank house, and July's even worse. July's even worse. So I'm thinking that at the best for him is that he'll be somewhat incapacitated and unable to tell people what to do at all. I mean, I think he's there now, but that's just me. So if Mr. Eyeliner thinks that he's going to step in, what in the heck is going to happen with that?
Well, and I think that's a good possibility, that if something was to happen, right now, the way things stand, it would be Mr. Eyeliner become president. Now, so I don't know if this was an actual news article or if this was an opinion about something that was going on, but it said the House needs one vote to impeach a president, and then the Senate can remove him. So they are thinking about it. They are putting even the Republicans are looking at this thinking, maybe this is what we need to do. And so if that was to happen, I think the Senate would remove him. I think this would be the first time that this might happen. And that would put the eyeliner guy in there.
And there are a lot of long-term GOP members in the House and the Senate who just lost their primaries in their states because the current occupant decided to jump up and endorse the red hat guy running against them. And a lot of them are like, okay, I've had enough. And they're crossing the aisle.
Yeah. Well, because he brings up the latest TV personality that should run for an office, or he puts somebody into an office that has absolutely no qualifications for that office. And that keeps happening. And yeah, I think the other Republicans are going, whoa, no, no, no. You know, they want to stay where they're at because at least they have some power there. You know, their vote makes a difference and stuff, but they're not going to vote along with Trump because they come November they will get kicked out. So they're trying to keep their spot, and they're no longer trying to, you know, just to roll over and play dead and go, oh yeah, this is what my boss wants. This is what I'm going to do.
One of the results I got a few days ago when I was doing a reading with a lot of these red hatters who lost their primaries, and it's like they're not only going to cross the aisle to try to get some stuff passed, but I was picking up on several of them are going to go out and speak for the Democrat running against the red hatter that beat them at their primary.
This is the energy that we are in astrologically too.
Yeah.
The energy of people actually starting to speak truth and speak from their heart. Mercury is going to spend a very long time in Cancer, the sign of the heart and caring and protection, the sign of protecting the homeland, the sign of family values, all of that stuff, and the mind and speaking and everything. It's going to be in Cancer for the month of June all the way through to August 10th. That's a hella long time because it goes retrograde in Cancer. So we have all this, and then it's retrograde. So lots of stuff can come back up, can get regurgitated back up. And it's going to be all these people really speaking from the heart. So yeah, I think it's a good chance. And I think it's so cute that they're worried about November and that election. In my vision of what is happening, the Congress is not going to be functioning the way it is at all by November. I mean, we may have some kind of election, but their bacon will be fried by then. they're not going to be around there. But
absolutely,
I threw cards on the whole future of Vance. What are you guys reading on?
Let me see on Vance. I hadn't drawn yet because I wasn't.
All right, so I'll go ahead with mine. So what I see here with the really, it's a combo of the guy who wears diapers and eyeliner man. So we have, again, I don't really know what this is. It is not an ace. Maybe it's a queen or something. Oh, it's 9. It's got to be the 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, it's the 9 of Pentacles. And it's got like, this woman almost looks like a mermaid. It says luxury at the end of the world, an oasis of riches to sustain herself. So, eyeliner guy is thinking that he's just, going to be fine and it's going to happen because there are people telling him that it's going to happen. There are people.
Well, and that's the rule. That's the law. When you take out the president under the 25th Amendment, the vice president automatically goes in.
Right. But then what crosses this is a very cool card in this deck. It is their Temperance card, but it says finding life's balance. But look at the picture on this card. I hope you can see it.
Two-Face?
Oh, wow.
Looks like a kind of a cyber person, right?
Yeah, it does.
The Borg took over.
Yeah, so that reminds me of, the stuff that Eyeliner Man has come from. All the tech stuff, all the weird lifestyle stuff, just the eyeliner. I mean, look at her. Talk about eyeliner. My God, she's got a whole mask thing over that side of her face. So, just weird, that weirdness coming through and yet having to temper that. And he's always trying to do that. And at the base of it is the King of Cups. So there's going to be a mature man who has more of a heart at the base of this and a little more reason, who is going to say, no, I don't think you're going to be doing this. And I bet that is a person whose initials are PT. I'll just leave it at that. You guys can figure out who that is. So the next thing that really is going on here is the fact that there is no more real give and take going on in Congress, in the blank house, no more real give and take. It is just cyborg. That's the word. Thank you, Erin, the hairstylist. There's no more real, like normal kind of political stuff. I'll wash your hand, I'll scratch your back, you scratch mine. That kind of isn't really going on anymore. This is just a battle of wits and a battle of who can get there first. It's more like a game of sorry than it is politics. And and eyeliner man's going to lose anyway. So he's crowned by, I think, himself, the Queen of Pentacles. She's wearing a little makeup. Okay. And then in front of him is the Queen of Cups. So there's something revealed, something surprising revealed as he starts to step into the spotlight. And he doesn't know really when it's going to happen or how it's going to happen, but he's just hoping that decision will be made. He doesn't know what to do to make it happen. He doesn't even know if he should be excited about it or not. And he really hopes that he can just grab the crown and be okay, but he's not going to. He gets the Three of Swords at the end. And I love that it shows a real heart, because that could be for both the current occupant of the blank house and eyeliner man. They could both feel like this. I don't think this is gonna. No bueno. No bueno, Mr. Couch. No bueno. That's what I got.
Okay, well, when it comes to the Maybelline Queen, where he is right now, I've got him 4 of Wands. He's celebrating because he's thinking, oh, it's so close, it's so close. I'm getting ready to step in those shoes. I'm gonna make the best prez ever. Yeah, keep on believing that. And then his next step, I get the King of Pentacles. And he's thinking, oh, I'm going to have all this money start flowing to me. I'm going to be able to be generous to the people who support me, blah, 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 blah. I think he's going to get in there and he's going to find the purse strings have been tied to a knot or 2 or 3 to prevent him from getting his hands on any money. And then his obstacle, I get the 2 of Wands reversed, which I gotta look that one up. That's bad planning, a fear of change, trying to play it safe, but you don't really know what you're up to. So that's kind of his obstacle right now, is he doesn't know. He's thinking things are going to line up this way and then they're going to be the other way, and it's really going to throw him for a loop. And then his strengths and resources, I got another reversal, which was the Ace of Swords reversed. And that one talks about brutality, chaos, clouded judgment, confusion. Well, that explains him. He may not be as extreme with some of that as Pencil Dick and the current occupant, but he's thinking that he's this big tough guy that he's going to be able to pull this off. And then his potential outcome, I get the 2 of Swords. We got like swords. The 2 of Swords.
A lot of swords. Yes.
That's a lot of swords. And the 2 of Swords represents avoidance, difficult choices, a time to think. That's his potential outcome. He's got it's not going to go the way he thinks it's going to go. And the main guy that has told him what to think, when to think, and how to think has just absconded to Argentina. So that's not going to be any help for him. He's probably taking his money with him as well. And then I got joined forces and lacking readiness.
Yeah.
Again, it does not look good for him at all.
No, it doesn't.
What I'm getting.
It doesn't. Do you have anything else, Cleo, on Mr. Eyeliner and the whole Trump saga?
Well, somebody did bring up a question here. It's a little bit different, but it is something that we do have to consider, and that is Will Red Hat with orange face try to suspend midterms using emergency war powers? A lot of people, we've had this question come up quite a lot lately. And I'm thinking that he won't be able to get away with that. I think that Congress will intervene, and because it'd be so blatantly obvious what he's trying to pull off of trying to.
Right now they're trying to force the states to turn over their voter rolls.
Yeah, they're messing around with the election stuff again.
And,
so,
and there was what we had primary elections last week?
Yep.
Yeah.
There were several states where you had people showing up to cast their ballot, and they were all being given provisional ballots, and they're like, no, I'm on your list, I'm registered to vote, I want my regular ballot. And they were told, well, no, we have to use these. And so provisional ballots, what's going to happen? They're going to toss them.
Yeah.
And there were some ticked off people about that from the news, the few news things I saw. So
okay.
So there's a lot of little goofy things going on to try to not make that election happen, or at least not to respect the results of that. One thing about the recent election that they had was there are a lot of Democrats going in, that they're going to end up with some really good candidates that are Democrats in that voting in November. So, and that it's making the it's making the Republicans look a little bit off, because some of the Republican candidates that did get theirs, they're going to be going against somebody, they're going to be on the ballot. They are not qualified. They are not they're not respected, but for somehow, some way, they're getting on there. But I mean, there's continual people that are on TV that suddenly now they're going to run for political office, and they're getting in, under the primaries, they're getting in to fight about it. Well, go ahead and do that, because most of the Democratic ones are not like that. They are people that are qualified, that probably have done things like as a representative or some other thing in the government, so they have some clue of what's going on. It is, but I think the more it gets to be leaning towards Democrat, the more the orange one will definitely start thinking about this war thing, and could he use that?
Yeah.
But instead of really focusing on that, he's all busy talking about the big pool. What is that?
And in 10 minutes he's gonna be talking about his rubber duckies for the pool. I mean, this guy is just like la 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 la. So I just threw some very interesting cards.
Okay.
I did 3 cards for the person in the that wears the diapers, and I did 3 cards for the eyeliner man, and I did 3 cards from what. So my idea was, what's going to happen first? What's the thing between all of these people that's going to happen first? What's going to happen next? Probably with Vance trying to take over. I didn't say his name. That was my neighbor Vance, who's over there. That I was not talking about eyeliner. So and then what's going to happen after that? Because you know how this happens. We all want it to be, this is going to happen and then it's over. And that's not how it's going to happen.
That's
You're
true.
going to have this, and then there's going to be a twist, and we're going to go this way, and then another twist. So I'm asking, what are the next 3 twists that we're going to see? And here's what I got. This is really good. 3 of Pentacles. This is a plan being hatched. And I think this has to do with the person who wears diapers' health. What are we doing about him, right? The next one is, again, the 2 of Pentacles. Everybody's got to stop looking at the money stuff. They're so focused on the money and the power, and they got to get off of that, because when this guy goes, he just goes, or he becomes, incommunicado. He can't talk anymore or something like that. But the last card of that is 9 of Cups. So I do think that he becomes to the point where he does have to be basically just kind of like cared for. So that's what happens, I think, with the orange guy. Then we have the eyeliner man. And wouldn't you know it, the same first 2 cards that I got on him before came up again. And I shuffled. So we get the 9 of Pentacles again for him. That scary Temperance card again. And we get now the Knight of Wands. Doesn't that look like something he'd try to do? He'd like that guy. He'd look good in eyeliner. Okay, so what does this mean? This means that he is going to have a moment. He's going to have a moment. His butt will touch the chair. He'll measure the drapes. He'll have a little press conference. And then all of a sudden, boom, it's going to be over. Something else is going to happen. He's going to feel like a king for 10 minutes. What's going to happen after that? This is very interesting. What's going to happen after that? The end. The world. The end. The end of all that nonsense. And the sun is going to expose everything. This can also be a big beginning. So that happens. And the world can also mean once something ends, something new begins. And then we have the 3 of Wands. And it says, a light on the horizon calls to you, standing on the precipice. This is us creating a new world, creating a new country. We're right on the edge of it right now. This is like one of those novels. This is like, you know, when everything comes to the end, right? When it's all crashing down. This is, you know, the guy with the mustache in the bunker going, oh, I can't have it, and shooting himself. You know, it's like everything just comes to this tumultuous climax, and then it's just over, and you have to clean up and start over. And that's what I think these 3 cards are.
Well, and you know, it kind of what he's doing is drawing this thing out with the war, making promises that never happen, going back. Well, how many times have he said things are getting better, we're getting closer, we're having great talks? Then he says we have the gas prices probably aren't going to come down for at least 3 months. Because he's still doing something in Iran that we don't want him to be doing. He is pushing it out. On one hand, he's talking through both sides of his face. On one hand, he's saying it's getting better, and we're going to open up that canal, and we're going to get the gas or the oil going. And Iran is saying no. Actually, Iran has turned things around to where they definitely are holding all the cards. Trump doesn't want us to know that. Excuse me, you know, the leader, the orange guy, doesn't want us to know that.
That was your neighbor, wasn't it? Wasn't their names Rump?
Right. Oh, the Rumps. Yes, the Rumps.
That's who you were talking about. Was your neighbors, the Rumps. Okay, go ahead.
Right. Okay, so the Rumps. So the main Rump is pushing this thing out further and further. That's why it gets so scary when you see people wondering, is he just going to say, oh, we're in a war, so now we can't have a vote? I'm telling you that we're not the only ones, but there's other people that do have a say in this that are watching this. And I've got to have faith in those people to do the right thing, because this is getting way, way out of hand. So it's just a matter of time. But yes, it does feel real scary. And he loves throwing that kind of anxiety around so that we just don't know what's going to happen. But when he said the other day, well, you know, the price of gas, I'm a little dyslexic, but the price of gas is going to probably stay high for the next 2 or 3 months. So he's hoping that we'll just accept that that's the way it's got to be. That's what he told us. So we'll just sit back thinking that in 2 or 3 months it's going to get better. That gives him so much time to fool around and talk about gerrymandering. I mean, it just so much time to fool around with the things that might be going on with these elections in November. So, hey, it's just.
And you got all these lawsuits that are going to the courts, and the courts are coming back and saying, oh yeah, sure, you can use those old maps. It's not just my state that had a predominantly Black district disillusioned with, just done away with, but it's several other states that have had that happen as well.
And you're saying that the courts are saying, yes, you can do that, or no, you can't do that?
Yeah, because it's determined by the courts in those states.
No, you can't. The Supreme Court is then coming back and saying, oh, yeah, you can do that. They actually told Alabama, I think it was, sometime this week that, yeah, you can go in and use the old gerrymandered map from like 5 years ago. That's cool. Oh. You can go back to that map.
Yeah, because remember when the census was taken over almost 6 years ago, that's when that map was created, and that census was all fakaks. It was, all messed up because of all the stuff that they did. So it wasn't right. It wasn't a good census. And anyway, the whole thing with the maps shouldn't be determined the way they're trying to determine them. Politicians shouldn't be drawing those maps.
Well, there's a couple of states now that they have completely eliminated any Democratic district from being the half Democratic seat.
Yeah, they have. So there may be, what I'm proposing is that his health is so poor that I don't think he's going to be able to call shots very much longer. And certainly by the fall, I don't think he's going to be calling any shots. B, that the thing with November is if it comes to be that there's a tip in power, I'll just say it like that. If it comes to be that there is a tip in power and it isn't all up to a bunch of crazy people in the blank house, then I think this country has proven when we went through COVID, this country has proven that we can rise up and meet an extraordinary challenge with extraordinary behavior and acts, that we can adapt to the moment and meet it and not just go along same old just because. We've proven that. And I think that's kind of the situation, well, even bigger, that we will find ourselves in towards the end of the summer and going into the fall. And I think that we may have to look at those maps and say, let's turn them back to 20 years ago. Maybe it was more fair then or something. I don't know. I'm not proposing all the details of what's going to happen, but I do think that a lot of things can be thrown up in the air, talked about, run the flag up the flagpole, see who salutes it. I think a lot of things can be up for grabs before we hold that so-called election. And I do not think that the current power base will be in charge very much longer. So I think it's possible. I really do. You've got them turning on him in the Congress and all over the country, really. And many, many states have already had elections where they've shifted the balance of power. Sure, there are a few examples of horrible iniquity in some red states. There's a lot of examples of that. But there's also a lot of examples of states where they have really begun to turn the tide. So I do think this is in the works, and I don't think that, I think he's got to be able to stay upright. That the extraordinary measures that they're taking with him medically are not, his body can't take it. So it just can't take, you can't keep rehydrating a rock.
Yeah, weekend at Bernie's only lasts so long.
That's right. That's right.
Eventually the corpse starts to smell.
Oh.
Which I think he's already gotten to that point, but
yeah,
even worse,
Yeah. You see this guy on Instagram? Let me see if I can find it. It's my friend Kathy turned me on to this, and it was very interesting. Let me find her text because it was just, I'll have to search for it. This guy is, he's a licensed, I think he works with people, elderly people, a lot of in-home care stuff, dementia, Alzheimer's, all the stuff. Kathy Bale, here we go. And let me find that. And yeah, he's called Epistemic. And what he talks about is all the things that he sees. And I think I've made mention of all of these things and said, that's not right. That's not healthy. That's a person who's dying. I'm sorry, but that's a person who's dying. And he confirmed everything that I thought, that, you know, and he's naming the types of procedures that they must be doing to keep him going. These rehydration procedures, the medications for Alzheimer's, the stuff that they do for his coronary, his venous situation, his cankles, all of that stuff. That those, you can't continue to do that, and certainly not all at the same time. Because now it's really speeding up. It used to be like once a month. Now it's
it's every first week of the month. Every month he disappears.
Now it's every week though. He's getting these.
Now he's starting to disappear on a weekly basis,
right?
And eventually, there's really only so much they can do to keep relighting the match, I guess you could say, you know, getting that spark going again before, you know, it's like, how much more harm are they doing to this man?
They're necromancers. They're raising him from the dead. They're necromancers. They're raising him from the dead. This is severe elder abuse. This man, they should not be doing this to this man.
That's it. Which makes me then sit back and say, where the hell's his family?
Yeah. Oh, she's on an island off of Albania.
Yeah, I'm busy climbing mountains barefoot.
And the other ones, Dumb and Dumber, are busy talking about all the crypto and all the rare earth minerals they're going to buy with their crypto and their stupid businesses that they're supposedly sitting like kings on top of, you know.
Yeah, well, they're making billions and billions of dollars, so they could care less, you know, just as long as daddy keeps throwing his weight around, it works out for them.
But you know, once daddy
croaks,
once he croaks, it makes me wonder how fast the kiddos are going to run out of cash, because of the fact that they have no control of limitations on what they're spending. They're just like he is. They're spending it as fast as it's coming in. I mean, we're talking about, well, they've got $2 billion. Now that's more money than my brain can even comprehend. But when you have somebody that is constantly spending at the level that they spend, $2 billion is not going to last you very long.
That's right. That's very right. But also look at, we're probably only hearing about maybe 5% of his lawsuits that are coming back, and they're saying, no, you can't do that. Like the one where the federal judges wrote all those letters to the federal judge in Florida and said, yes, you go, girl, you go investigate that thing, reopen that case. All of his cases, especially where he has not paid his reparations, all of them are coming back up. All of them. And we have a Mercury retrograding Cancer coming back up. That is not bueno for him. That is not bueno for him. All of that stuff is going to come back. So even if he is, well, I won't say compos mentis because we know he hasn't been that in about a decade, but all of the stuff is coming back up. And if he's at all breathing, he's going to have to face the music. So I think his sons are going to have to bail him out a little. But I also think that there will be eventually reparations made and levied upon them. I think they will have to give back a great deal of money.
Well, and I think that what he's doing by using the presidency as a way to make money is that the Congress and the other, the senators, they're looking at this going, you know what? Wait a minute. This is way out of line. Somebody's going to put their foot down. And the fact that we see more and more Republicans trying to be distancing themselves from him, that is key. This is kind of, for me anyway, I've just been waiting for this to happen because there's so much conflict within that party. But that right now, what they're so busy doing is saying, no, it's not us. Democrats are totally screwing up, and they can't get along, and I'm thinking, well, they're not totally screwing up. They are not doing the kinds of things that we would expect them to do during this time, because they just don't have the majority. They don't have a voice in it. But when they start seeing Republicans saying, hey, wait a minute, you guys, let's kind of get together on this. And it doesn't take many, because the majority of the Republicans is very limited by a few seats.
Mm-hmm.
And it just takes a few of them to go with the Democrats. And that is beginning to happen.
Do you know which Republican has really put his foot down? And it probably hurts him to do it. And I don't mean in his heart. I mean his actual foot probably hurts. Mitch McConnell.
I was just going to say the
Mitch
turtle
McConnell, the walking corpse, has it says this is an AI overview, and it says Mitch McConnell has openly put his foot down against that guy on several key issues. Heading toward his retirement from the Senate, McConnell has broken with the president over policy, constitutional, and legislative disputes. The Save America Act, the DOJ pardon compensation, cabinet nominees, and foreign policy.
Yeah. And I was wondering when he was finally going to say something. I think he's been so under the weather himself.
Yeah.
Weakened and old and just having trouble. But in the long run, he doesn't have to worry anymore. He's not trying to.
And a lot of other Republicans are doing that too. When they lost their primaries, so they don't care. So, okay, 3 sheets to win. I'm just saying no now. We did not have a sign before that, but okay.
Well, no, they don't have any control of those people now. And those people never wanted, and you said this yourself, Colleen, these people didn't necessarily want to go that route anyway.
Oh, no.
But they were being threatened, and they still are, but not the ones that don't have a ticket to come back. They don't care. It's not.
And so it tells you how many of them. I mean, this is going to be a watershed, because there's going to be so many that can't come back. I mean, it's just bananas. It's just bananas.
Yeah, they don't want to. You're right. Yeah. They don't want to deal with this anymore, and they don't. But then there's that other half that are saying, "Hey, I'm gonna just kind of back off and let everybody else grumble about what's going on, because I want to get voted back in."
Mm-hmm.
So they can't really make a difference. They can't really come up and say nay or yay about something. They have to follow the Orange King. And so that's just where they're at. I think those people, a lot of them are going to fall by the wayside. I think they're going to be taken over by Democrats. Yeah. But if there's something going on with this redistricting thing, that's like Shari was talking about, if there's something that can actually change there, that would really be a big, big help. And, the fact that they're trying to take the votes away from the blacks, what in the world? Why? You would think they would think that would be the easiest group to manipulate. But surprise, surprise, black people tend to be more Democrats than Republicans.
And, they're smart. They don't just do what you tell them to do.
Right. Yeah, you can't just lead them around.
Yeah, I
won't say. Their days of saying yes, massa is over.
Oh, a long time ago, and they know that, and they've been
there on that one. Yeah.
But how many years?
A couple hundred.
Oh, there we go. Yeah. Okay. I thought you said a couple years ago.
I was going to say 250, but we still had them under the thumb then. So, but I mean, I know that I keep ringing this bell that almost every question I'm bringing this back to. These issues that people are concerned about, don't be concerned. You're worried about all these little things that are going on. No, the bigger picture, look at the bigger picture. Mm-hmm. The bigger picture is imagine how you want things to be. Imagine how you want your government to be. Imagine who you want representing you in your government. Imagine what the government should look like, because they're going to rebuild it from the ground up. It's not going to be the way that it is today. It's going to be very, very different. And imagine what it should be. What do you want? Put that out to the universe about what do you want. Manifest that shit. Manifest it. We need it. We need all of you to do that, because it's terrible the way it is right now. It's horrible. So why not get rid of it? I mean,
it is. But we are right in the middle of a transition. I just feel that. I really feel that.
I think we're all feeling it.
Yeah, I think so
too.
Sit
down with a piece of paper and just write out, make a list of all the things you would like this country to be. Mm-hmm. All of the positive things. Don't write down anything negative, just the positive. and then start
Medicare for
working.
all, free college for everybody, lenient mortgage rules for people buying a home at any stage of life, not just first-time home buyers, but anybody. Excellent, what do they call it? Supplements from the government when you go to buy a house. We want equal rights. We want all the DEI and then some to come back. We want, no disparity, not such a huge disparity between the people who run the company and the people who work for the company. Make that shit illegal. Get rid of that capital gains shit. Get rid of that thing that billionaires don't pay taxes. Get rid of all that shit. That is terrible. That is that is making us live like serfs. It's like we're living in the goddamn Middle Ages,
not only not to pay taxes, but to remove the cap on Social Security and stuff.
Yeah.
You think we would be able to then give seniors an appropriate living wage on their Social Security, and it would never run out because everybody's being taxed on every dollar that they're making.
Well, and also let's do a universal income while we're at it. It's about time. A little reparation for all of us, no matter the color of our skin or our sex. Just all of us should get universal income.
Everybody,
and if you're so wealthy that you don't need it, honey, you can say no. It's okay.
One good thing about the price of gas going up like this is actually going to be a boon for Social Security, because we're going to probably get a lot more money than we've gotten in the past. I mean, we did pretty good during the pandemic, because they go by by inflation, and how good or bad things have gone. So the more inflation, the higher the percentage of whatever you're going to get paid for Social Security. It goes up. And we're talking like 15, 30, maybe as much as, depending on how much you get in the first place, maybe as much as $50 a month. I mean, that is actually a lot,
Yeah.
So, but right now, because of the gas, they're speculating that Social Security is going to go up. I think the last I heard was maybe like 4%. That would be great. I'd like to see it go higher. I'm trying to remember what happened with, I think it was Biden when he was in there, and we were just in the midst of a mess with the pandemic. I think it went up quite a bit more than that. I know for me, I mean, I'm on Social Security, but I don't get a lot anyway because I'm a woman. I don't get a lot, but but to have it go up like that really made a difference for me. So I'm, on one hand, I hate it that what's going on with the gas prices because it affects every single thing. On the other hand, that's one thing that some people could look forward to, that they're going to get a little bit more money next year on their Social Security. Yes, they're going to run around and say, well, Social Security is running out, so enjoy it because you're not going to have it long. That will change once we get rid of a certain administration and go Democrat. The Democrats will fix it. There is a way to fix it. They already know how to fix it, but they can't. They can't do it because they can't get the votes to do that kind of thing. I mean, so many things are cattywampus with the economy, and what the Republicans have done to the whole country with tariffs, with the war, with trying to take over other countries, with immigration. I mean, it's just. It has
yes, all that stuff. Yeah,
it's just taken a big hit on the country, and but that is going to turn around. It can't turn around fast enough. I mean, that's the gist of it.
Yeah, but visualize. Every one of you really look for the positive, how you want it to be. Not only will that help it come into being, but this will lower your blood pressure. This will make you feel better. This will raise your vibration. You'll
instantly sleep through the night.
You'll instantly begin to feel like you are doing something to help. You're not just a victim of this shitty situation, because you're not. You don't have to be a victim. You do have to look at what you want and visualize it going out there and send your energy out there. And if you feel like there's other people suffering, send them white light and energy to end their suffering or to ease it at least, right? Do those things, all those things coming from your heart. These are very important things for your health and for everybody else's. So
that's what I tell
please,
my
please
folks
do this.
every day at lunchtime when I do my lunch break political read.
Yeah.
I always, if I can't specifically find hope in something in one of the cards for them to hang their hat on, then I tell them, all right, look at what we got here. Now you find the hope in it for you, and that's what you focus on. Because it's a negative news with a lot of it that we're giving them. But even being given the worst negative news over and over again, if you put your faith in going for the hope, if you put your faith in going for what's going to make everything better for everybody.
And I would say it's a new twist on Michelle Obama's when they go low, we go high. Yeah. Raise that vibration, take it high, make your thoughts in the higher realm. Don't think about the muddy crap down here. Make it high. Your high vibration is powerful. You are powerful beings. You can affect this change. It isn't just all the people in politics. It's people. It's our energy. You can do this. So please, please, please do it. Please do it.
Because, you know, it doesn't do any good to go the other way. It doesn't do any good to totally freak out. It doesn't do any good to have high anxiety because we are all watching the news and we're watching the gas prices and we're watching terrible things happening and we're being told a lot of lies. That's the other thing, you know, when you're listening to this stuff and you're thinking, oh, shit, you know, what's going to happen? Don't, first of all, don't listen to it because what they say today changes tomorrow.
Or it's a lie.
Well, it's all lies and it's all made to control. This administration is really into control psychologically. Psychologically, they want to control us. Don't let that happen. As long as you keep yourself saying, you know what? I don't care what's going on. I'm going to be okay. I can do this. And I know that things are going to change. For me, I personally have faith in the American public that they will come together because they're the people that are raising families, looking at their kids. This isn't just a thing about having the best job and making the most money. They're just trying to make ends meet because more people live day to day and trying to do the right thing than there are people that are, you know, they're all, you know, you start thinking about the ultra rich and stuff and you feel like I can never get to that place. Who cares? You don't have to be to that place. You just have to be to a place where you're happy, where you know you're in control. You know that you're going to be able to take care of your family one way or the other, no matter what these other yahoos do. You know, things have gone haywire, and unfortunately, we tried to tell people 2 years ago, 3 years ago, this is what was going to happen. But anyway, it's happened, and we're in the midst of it. We see a lot of changes that I feel pretty good about this, especially this month and last month, where the other side, the Republicans that have been so, I don't know, it kind of reminds me of, well, it doesn't matter what it reminds me of. It's not a good thing. But they're coming together. They're starting to act more like normal people. They're starting to get their own mind, their own thinking back about, yes, what this guy is doing is not right. And to have the Secretary of State boldly lie over and over to Congress about somebody that's falling asleep at the wheel. Yes, I mean, you know, this is true. And we saw the news things too. We saw the videos. We know that is true. But then you've got somebody that, hey, that Secretary of State's a pretty important person.
Yeah.
So there's other people that are saying, wait a minute, you know what? No. We're getting too far off the beaten track. We're getting off on the wrong foot. It's going too far. And I think it's going to stop. But
Yeah.
it like Colleen has said over and over again, it doesn't just happen one day where suddenly something changes and all of a sudden we look around and go, Yahoo, it's over. It doesn't work like that. But
well, we didn't get here overnight.
No,
This has
absolutely.
been decades in the making, and it's
Yes.
been slowly chipping away, chipping away, chipping away. You know, starting with the nonsense of the government is bad and you can't trust the government. And then what do? They'd go in and they'd break something in the government and say, oh, we have to privatize it now because the government can't do a good job of it. Well, yeah, when you sabotage it, it's not going to do a good job of it. So,
Yeah.
you know, I always liken it to a wheel. A wheel is only as strong as the amount of supportive spokes in it. You start knocking out the spokes, and eventually that wheel collapses in on itself and it can't turn anymore.
That's right.
And that's what they've been doing for
a very long time.
You know, that's what that.
Yep. So, guys, we've been on almost an hour and a half. So I'm going to leave you with this. So when I think about what's going on in our country, here's what I do. And I didn't really plan this. It just kind of like popped into my brain. I see all of those little turd muffins falling off a cliff slowly in slow motion. And they are falling in slow motion so that I can enjoy the fall, so that I can just watch them and enjoy the, you know what? I'm just watching all of them. Stephen Miller, all of them, right? So I'm watching that. And after I watch, I go, oh, Colleen, that's not a very high perspective to have. You're not being very spiritual with that. Then I turn my attention over to what I want to see. But it's that little bit of joy I get from watching them fall off the mountain. And then I go to what I should be doing. So let yourself indulge a little bit, right? And then get to what you should be doing, visualizing that positive future, the way you want the world to be. Because I tell you, the rest of the world is visualizing it for us. The rest of the world is looking at us and saying, yeah, they could do great things if they put their minds to it. So let's put our minds to it.
You know, and it's like Aaron the hairstylist said, we're getting in a better place each day. Each day, one day at a time. And that's correct. That is absolutely correct.
Yep. There we go. Okay, you guys, thank you so much for being with us. We appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you so much for your comments. It was a fascinating commentary in the chat. And I don't even know how many questions we had, but it doesn't matter. It was a great chat. It was a great time. And we'll see you guys. Oh, and I'm going to Seattle tomorrow. I'm going to Seattle. I'm going to be sitting in studio with my sister. We're going to do at least one show, maybe a couple, who knows. And so I'm really excited about that. And I got to get to bed because I got to get up at like 4 a.m. or something ridiculous to get to the plane.
I got to go take me some dinner. So
and this channel is not going to have my cool musical entry. So when I end it, it just ends it. So mwah to everybody. And we'll see you.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.